his older brother to have sex with me. It was a horrific experience.
I know that this is my last chance. I know that I'm dying. I know that I'm not gonna make it.
This is a very dangerous situation you're in, and God knows if you're gonna survive 4 months.
Angela Gutierrez's story is like a Shakespearean tragedy, but with more snacks and fewer speeches. Imagine a woman battling obesity her whole life, her diet, a carousel of junk food, and a mother-daughter dynamic straight out of a daytime soap. The emotional baggage she carried was heavier than her actual weight, if you can believe it. And the burning question remains, could Angela's horrifying past ever allow her to step into a healthier future? Hello, everyone! Before diving into today's episode, featuring some of the wildest of people who lost the plot on my 600-pound life, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of these jaw-dropping stories. Ready? Let's get started.
My weight never seemed to be a problem back then. I just knew my mom didn't like it. I felt like she was embarrassed because of me being fat, and I did not feel loved by my mother. We just did not have a mom-daughter connection. I wish my mom and me could have had more. I do remember being in middle school, I was weighing 150 pounds. Now, going into my teen years, every year it seemed like I was heavier and heavier.
So, Angela decided to call on Dr. Now for help. And here's where things get, let's just say, infuriatingly absurd. Despite her cries for assistance, Angela was less about sweating off the pounds and more about dreaming of a magical weight loss fairy. Spoiler alert, she didn't find one. Her dreams were like ordering a salad and hoping it tastes like pizza, a major disconnect from reality.
In 1 year, I was bombarded, and basically I didn't have no control.
This is just more excuses because you're saying you went back to overeating because life got hard and stressful. That's never gonna change. That's part of life. So I still have the same question. What's gonna be any different this time if you have weight loss surgery?
I'm just done. So, I really want to lose it now. Because I'm gonna be dead next year. I know I am.
Angela's next move? Seeking Dr. Now's guidance. Bold, right? Except she had a habit of ghosting her appointments. Each missed meeting came with a new excuse, like a twisted game of hide-and-seek with her own health. Dr. Now, ever the patient saint, extended yet another olive branch, despite his growing doubts about her commitment. Seriously, can we just take a moment to appreciate Dr. Now's patience? If I were him, I'd be flipping tables by now.
Go to the zoo, walk the entire zoo, not sit once. I want to be able to breathe. I want this out of my face. And I just want life back. I'm 44, and I can't believe I've taken advantage of everything. And I don't think it's too late for me.
It's never too late to try to save your life. But do you want all that enough this time to actually do what you need this time?
Yes.
Okay, then here's what we can do.
The missed appointments didn't stop. Angela had a laundry list of reasons. No place to stay in Houston, feeling too ill, needing more time. All the while, she was MIA on calls and messages. This was like watching a car crash in slow motion. You want to look away, but you just can't. Dr. Now, known for his no-nonsense approach, wasn't buying any of it. He could see through her excuses like a window cleaner on Red Bull. Angela's claims of shedding 120 pounds without proof? Please, if wishes were horses, we'd all be riding to the gym by now.
And you haven't been by for your second appointment, so what's going on?
I'm having problems trying to find a place to live there, and a lot of hesitation in regards to moving.
Hold on, Angela. You haven't even been back to show me you hit the goal I gave you. And you're already coming up with excuses and missing your appointment without us even hearing from you.
Angela's narrative kept twisting and turning, much like her efforts to dodge accountability. She believed she was making progress, despite avoiding Dr. Now for 6 months and showing no real evidence of improvement. This wasn't just frustrating for Dr. Now, but also for everyone rooting for her. It's like rooting for the underdog in a sports game, only to see them repeatedly score on their own goal.
We seem to have a very serious situation with Angela. She has missed her last 2 appointments now. So it's been 6 months since I originally saw her. When she missed her follow-up appointment for the first time, she blamed not being able to find a place to live in Houston. But we were not even to that point with her yet.
Tragically, Angela's story ended in 2023 when she passed away at just 49. Her tale, though heartbreaking, sends a crucial message about the importance of confronting reality and having a genuine desire to change for the sake of one's health.
Back to us, and you've been avoiding my calls, making excuses, and lying to us. But now you aren't sick. You have completely recovered, it seems. So what's the reason you're still not coming down to Houston to see me for your follow-up appointment?
You know what? I'll be very honest with you. I don't know why it took so long. It seemed like something was happening every other week.
Imagine having access to one of the best weight loss surgeons in the country and still choosing to dodge appointments. It's like winning the lottery and then losing the ticket. Angela's journey is a cocktail of missed chances and self-sabotage. Her excuses, from not finding a place in Houston to being too ill, are reminiscent of the lies we sometimes tell ourselves to avoid the hard truth.
We're doing it together. She loves cooking, I love cooking. Even though she loves it, I'm able to now. I don't need her to. And so sometimes I have to tell her, sit down, let me do it. You got your potatoes? We had to learn a lot about each other when she moved in here.
Entreon, Shannon's story isn't just about the scale. It's about a cocktail of choices, circumstances, and maybe a sprinkle of denial. Entreon's starting point: congestive heart failure and diabetes, with a daily routine of 13 to 14 medications. Sounds like a delightful way to kickstart your day, right?
It's definitely no way to live. I take about 13 to 14 different medications to make sure my heart does not fail. And that's the only thing that keeps me out of the hospital. Being this big is horrible. Think of your worst pain and then stretch it out over day in and day out every day.
Entreon's relationship with food is like that toxic ex you just can't quit. Growing up, he found comfort in his grandma's kitchen, where Lovey and Calorius came hand in hand. By 18, he weighed in at 450 pounds. Grandma's cooking was legendary, but was she an enabler? That's a tough cookie to crumble. It's like bringing donuts to a diet meeting. Good intentions with bad outcomes.
And so I spent a lot of times there with her. And what do? We eat. We play games, but we eat. We do this, but we eat. And so food and good food was always present. How many calories is that?
What you're supposed to eat.
You'll put some honey on it?
3 more.
Life wasn't kind to Entreon. Raised by a single parent, he lost his father and grandfather to heart issues, and his own diagnosis of heart failure didn't exactly scream happy ending. Food was his escape, and then losing his job as a security guard? Talk about a bad break. Entreon's wife, Musa, was his steadfast partner, pushing him to lose weight before they started a family. Sensible? Absolutely, but the road ahead wasn't lined with salads and gym memberships.
I ended up dropping out of college after 1 semester. I got a job working security at a retail store. The job paid well for 7 years, working 10 to 14-hour days. At first, my size worked in my favor. Being big helped intimidate customers who came to steal things. And that's when I started to have health issues of my own.
Enter Dr. Now, the no-nonsense weight loss guru. Entreon weighed 702 pounds when he walked in. Dr. Now laid out the plan: a strict 1,200-calorie diet and some exercise, aiming for an 80-pound loss in 2 months. Easy peasy, right? Not quite. Fast forward 3 months, and Entreon managed to lose a whopping 19 pounds. Instead of following the diet, he opted for protein shakes and peanut butter. When questioned, he just laughed it off. Maybe he thought laughing burns more calories than exercise.
But it's not going to be easy for me, though. It's definitely going to be a challenge.
I agree with all that. But the first step is you showing that you are willing to do what you say. Because it sounds like you said all this before. And so far, it seems like you go in the other direction. Okay? So to get you started, I'm going to give you a 1,200 calorie diet that is high protein, low carb. I'm going to walk you through it, and I want you to start that immediately.
Yes, sir.
Doctor now wasn't laughing. He gave Entreon another 80-pound challenge, painting a grim picture if things didn't change. But instead of stepping up, Entreon stepped on the scale, 6 pounds heavier. Still joking, still not taking it seriously. Desperate, Dr. Now sent him to a psychotherapist. The therapist asked Entreon to list his grievances like a sermon. So Entreon showed up with coffee and a cinnamon roll. Seriously, that's like bringing a fire extinguisher to a bonfire. Irony, meet Entreon.
I'm just gonna leave it until we go back to the doctor so that he can explain to you, because it's not there. Like it feels like maybe the food is the same. I told him if you go through the book and look at the food, it's not the same, it's different kinds. Just because you don't like it, but it's good for you, just take it. Because if you're full, you're not gonna think of taking peanut butter.
By the end of his episode, Entreon's weight had skyrocketed to 704 pounds. That's a gain of 15 pounds when he was supposed to lose them. It's like studying for an exam and ending up dumber. In the end, Entreon's story is a reminder that the path to change isn't always linear.
Can't help but feel that I messed up my chances. Because I know that Dr. Now would not be happy. And if he gives up on me, then I know that I will have let Musa down.
Hello, how y'all doing?
Yeah.
Good. Well, Antaran,
Wait. Enjoying the story so far? Give us a thumbs up and let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you think Entreon Shannon lost track, wait till you hear the story of Lacey Buckingham. Her journey takes drama to a whole new level with twists you won't believe. Lacey's story was a roller coaster of health battles, emotional trauma, and, of course, some jaw-dropping drama. Lacey's health? A hot mess, to say the least. Diabetes, cholesterol levels that could make your heart weep, and blood pressure through the stratosphere. Her bones were practically begging for mercy under all that weight. She once compared herself to a T-Rex, massive steps, but slower than a sloth on tranquilizers. Honestly, can you imagine living like that? It's like trying to run a marathon with cement shoes.
Heat rash in places that never goes away no matter how clean I am. I have stabbing pain in my feet and really dull crushing pain in my lower back. It's not a fun time. My right knee is the worst pain I've ever had in my life. I struggle with diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and it's all because of my weight.
Now, let's rewind to her childhood. Imagine a home where her dad's temper could rival a nuclear explosion, and her mom treated her like an uninvited guest at a party. Yep, Lacey was the infamous oops baby, courtesy of a failed IUD. Her mom never let her forget it either. Imagine being reminded every day that you were the result of a malfunction. Talk about a confidence booster.
That told me, oh my gosh, I think I'm pregnant. Yeah.
When I was very young, she told me that I was an IUD baby in an accident. It made me feel like a disaster. So my self-esteem was disgustingly low as a child. Therefore, I ate because it's what brought me comfort.
And then third grade rolled around. Lacey faced a horrific sexual abuse, and adding salt to the wound, her mom didn't believe her. Food became her only solace. It wasn't just eating, it was emotional survival. Trauma can really mess with your head, huh? It's like trying to patch a sinking ship with chewing gum.
Yeah, baby.
Please, I need extra butter on my pancakes.
Okay, babe.
The summer before 3rd grade, I began hanging out with a new kid on the block, and we were playing one day, and he wanted me to go to his house. And when I went over, his older brother lived in the basement, and I was dragged to the basement by my friend for his elder brother to have sex with me.
When Lacey debuted on the show, she was hauling around 593 pounds of sheer determination and despair, with Ricky tagging along as her personal assistant. Ricky seemed great, always there to cook or help her with basic tasks. But let's be honest, was he genuinely helpful or just a SEO conspirator in her self-destruction? It's like having a friend who brings you donuts while you're on a diet.
And I like the attention, to be honest. Technically, I've been in 3 feeder relationships with men, but I haven't done that in a long time. Thankfully, I have Ricky now, who's not like those other guys, because he wants the best for me. So we're together now, and I'm thankful to have him. Not just to have somebody to help me, but because I know he loves me.
Enter Dr. Now, the king of tough love. He handed Lacey a monumental task: lose 50 pounds in a month. She kicked things off with enthusiasm, but life's curveballs started coming at her like a bad pitching machine. Old habits die hard, right? Before long, she was ghosting her appointments and diving back into the comforting arms of junk food. It's like trying to quit smoking while living in a cigar lounge.
So I'm going to give you some stuff I want you to read every night that will break down at 1,200 calories a day, low-carb, high-protein diet that you need to follow completely.
Okay.
And understand to correct your eating habit. And I'm going to give you some exercises that you can do at home. And I want you to do those twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. So in 2 months, you need to lose 50 pounds.
Things between Lacey and Ricky took a nosedive too. She ended up calling the cops on Ricky and his sister Sharon because she felt threatened. This drama unfolded on their road trip to Houston, leaving Lacey stranded by the roadside. Talk about a nightmare road trip. I've heard of bad travel companions, but this takes the cake.
Thank you for wiping my butt. Thank you for wiping my butt.
Today, Lacey lost her mind. It's the best way to explain it. And she decided to call the police department and said we were all trying to hurt her, or in my case, she tried to blame me for abusing her.
Get whatever the she needs off my U-Haul, and her is gone. You want your it will be at the U-Haul place.
Now, about that diet plan. Dr. Now put her on a strict regimen, but it was more like a suggestion to Lacey. The pounds weren't budging. He gave her another chance, but it was like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. Eventually, Dr. Now had to cut her loose from the program because she just couldn't stick to the plan. It's like getting kicked off a reality show for not being dramatic enough. Ironic, isn't it? Lacey's story is a stark reminder of how the past can haunt us. It's a messy, complicated tale of trauma and resilience.
Well, you have a lot of your life to figure out right now. So I'm going to let you figure that out, where you're going to live, where you're going to be. But if you want to continue with the program, then you have to lose at least 50 pounds to show me you're committed to take responsibility for your life. And you're putting in the effort to change. If not, then it won't matter if you're living down here.
Imagine living your life utterly dependent on your parents for everything. I mean, not just a little help here and there. I'm talking about needing assistance for the simplest tasks. That's Jean's life in a nutshell. Picture a dark, gloomy cloud hanging over your house 24/7. Jean wasn't just fighting her weight, she was up against a barrage of health issues and immobility, all made worse by poor hygiene. It's like a never-ending horror show, and she's the unwilling star.
It was absolutely terrifying. But since then, I haven't been able to use the shower. My mom bathes me from a bowl and a washcloth. because it's very important. I try to stay as clean as I can, since there's a lot of areas of my body that rub and chafe and cause these sores to form and open up on me, and I can't let them get infected.
But how did Jean end up in this mess? Her backstory reads like a script from a tragic movie. As a child, Jean went through traumas that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. Raised by a tyrant of a grandmother, Jean endured physical abuse that makes your skin crawl. And because life likes to kick you when you're down, she also suffered sexual abuse from her mom's boyfriend. So, what did Jean do? She turned to food. Because, hey, in a world full of betrayals, a cheeseburger never lets you down, right? It's these silent battles that people face that remind us how cruel life can be.
Because that's when I had a really traumatic experience. My mom had started dating someone then, and he molested me. It was only a one-time thing, but the one time did damage. I remember sitting on the floor watching TV, and he came and he sat right down beside me. And he said, "This will be our little secret." And he said, "Don't ever tell your mom because she won't believe you."
Now, let's fast forward to a critical moment in her life. Jean was hospitalized with a life-threatening infection. She managed to lose 53 pounds during this ordeal. Hooray for small victories. But reality had other plans. After leaving the hospital, she was supposed to continue losing weight on her own. The goal? Another 100 pounds. Sounds doable, right? Wrong. Instead of losing, she gained 29 pounds. It's like playing a cruel game of let's make things worse, where every step forward is met with a shove backward.
53 pounds, halfway to your goal. So all you needed to do was lose the remaining 50 pounds in 6 weeks on your own to get down to your overall goal I gave you. But instead, you gained back 29 pounds.
Yes.
Can you tell me what happened?
I mean, I had a day that I went over the 1,200 calories.
So one bad day and you gained 30 pounds?
Dr. Now gave Jean another shot at redemption. She swaggered into her next checkup full of confidence, even boasting about showing off her progress. Well, surprise, surprise. 2 months later, she had only lost 8 pounds. Was she even trying? Maybe she thought Dr. Now's diet was more of a suggestion than a strict plan.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you all doing?
I'm doing good.
All right. So you were given the same goal as the first time to lose 100 pounds in 2 months.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And instead, you lost 8 pounds. The only positive with that is that at least you didn't gain. But it's not much of a loss. So what did you accuse this time?
I try to push myself as much as I possibly can. But I've started having a lot of pain with the lump on the side of my stomach.
Just when we thought the roller coaster ride was over, life dealt Jean another harsh blow. Her father died, leaving her spiraling into deep sorrow. Naturally, she turned back to food for comfort. It's like food was her only friend in a world determined to break her. Overcoming grief to stick to a diet? Yeah, right. Jean's story was never going to be that straightforward.
They got him. Got a funeral service coming to get him. The sheriffs told me that my dad, in fact, was deceased.
And if you think that's the end, think again. Her mother fell ill, leaving Jean to face gastric surgery alone. Imagine undergoing such a significant procedure without any family support. It's a lonely, terrifying ordeal. To top it all off, Jean went full legal drama on us by suing the production company of the show. She claimed they broke their promise to cover her mother's medical expenses. Talk about adding fuel to the fire. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the most dramatic moments of people losing track on my 600-pound life, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for more jaw-dropping stories. Leave a comment with your favorite moment, and we'll see you in the next episode.
We need to do to feel whole again.
Right.
When something like death happens, it can make you want to retreat from life and just stop everything. And I want you to know that you and your mom both will experience moments where it seems like things are surreal and out of control.
Right.